Hello and welcome to the Bones Horror Podcast. This is our episode 93, A Nightmare on Elm Street from 2010. A revisit from us. Well, for me anyway, we did this on episode 2. It's probably barely audible if you go back and listen to it, but let's talk about it as we've been on this Nightmare on Elm Street mission. So,
journey.
yeah,
A
certainly.
journey.
It's been a long week. So this is
it's had its
8
ups,
in the
it's had its
journey, isn't it? No,
downs.
9 in the journey.
Yeah.
So this is what I got from IMBD. The spectre of a disfigured man haunts the children of the parents who murdered him, stalking and killing them in their dreams. Slightly different from the original. So tonight with us we have Jess on mute
Hello.
and Larry.
Hello.
And Ewan's gone travelling. So, yeah. So he's not with us tonight, but probably a good thing for him, I would have thought. I don't know if you'd seen this before, Ewan.
Hopefully he joins the chat and to give us his thoughts because it'll be
I'd love to
interesting.
know his thoughts. So, what have we been up to this week? Again, I haven't got a lot to say. It's been the same old. On Friday, how shall I say it? Within my job, I have to look after a few people, and one of them was drinking special brew at 10 o'clock in the morning. So his last day was on Friday, and I feel bad about that, but it was for the best because we work in quite a dangerous environment to be drinking special brew. An hour later, it's quite an interesting story. It was a hell of a day for me Friday. An hour later, there was a man. I was outside looking at some lights and things, as you do. There was a man collapsed on the floor, choking. So I managed to get him in a recovery position, and the paramedics came and took him away. So there you are, podcaster and lifesaver, you know. So I was pleased with that. And then I pressed a button and it took the whole building out for 3 hours, and I had to get Southern Electric out and Scottish Electric. So it was an eventful day. Never pressed. Do you know when there's a red button? It didn't say do not press, but I couldn't help it. I was testing the building. I needed to know what this would do. So what it did was turn everything off in this massive building and gave us no way of turning it back on without the help of others. So, yeah, I had it all back up and running by 3:30 in the afternoon, though. But it was a long old day. So that was kind of my week, other than watching a few bits, not too much last week. Jess?
Well, I was meant to obviously go for breakfast with you Friday morning, and I
was
really
saving
forgot.
lives, wasn't I?
Yeah, and now I know why I didn't hear. So yeah, I've been working, and I got a phone call on Tuesday to say that I got an offer for a place that I've been interviewing at the past 2 weeks, and I have accepted that offer. So
Lovely.
I will no longer be making milkshakes in 21 days.
Nice.
I had one of those milkshakes today, and it was very, very nice. That's good news, though, Jess. Great news.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it the hours better?
Yeah.
Working? Yeah.
Less hours. It's a lot closer to home, and I get to work from home, so more time to watch films and things. No more like 2 hours a day of traveling.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's
That is
always
nice.
good.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask whether you want to go to that new HMV shop next week, because I don't know if it's new, the one in Southampton, but
Oh yes,
I found it once and I thought, wow,
it's good.
what a Blu-ray collection they had in there.
Mhm.
So Larry, what have you been up to? Visiting schools or
Mhm.
and things?
Yeah.
More to say?
Yeah, more working. I'm working on a book at the moment with Ria. And so it's a story. Jess, you might actually have the script for it. I might have sent it to you like a while ago, like I'm probably like years ago.
Okay.
But essentially, yeah, it was a script, and long story short, we looked at it and thought, well, it would be better served as a novel, because there's like can go into detail, like way more detail. So I kind of like pitched the idea, and we were like talking about it, and then now so we're on the kind of first stages of getting everything planned, and then hopefully can begin to slowly write it. It's going to be a long process, and it's going to be a long book.
It's going to be a novel. It's going to be pretty long, I would say.
Yeah, I was going for. It's got a very. I couldn't explain the story to you here because it would be the whole podcast. It's very complicated, but hopefully, if it gets done, then people can obviously read it and see what they think. Fingers
I'll be
crossed
reading
it's
it.
good.
I will be reading it. I look forward to that. So, should we talk about this movie?
I guess.
Yeah.
If we have to.
It annoyed me more this time, and I think I sent some messages last night, Jess, didn't I? Or was it the other night? Was it last night? I think
Yeah,
it might have been,
last
actually.
night, yeah, because we watched it kind of the same time.
We did, and so it was 2010, April 2010, and it was directed by Samuel Bayer, is it? And I remember looking at what he had done before, and it was just music videos. I don't think he's done any more films since. I can see why. It starred Jackie Earl Haley as Freddy Krueger. I think he was in
It's in Watchmen.
Yeah,
Watchmen.
He's good in that. I don't think you see him in it, do you?
No, he does take his mask off, but I think that was a credit to his acting. Is that it was a lot of voice work, and he was really good at it. Very good.
So and Dan's just piped up. We will be reading that because I know he's a massive reader, Dan. So he'll probably read that in a night, as it take me about 6 months. So,
lovely. That's cool. I hope you will. When it's done, definitely I'll hopefully try and promote it a bit and see how it goes.
Yeah. Rooney Mara as Nancy, and I think I read she was married to Wacom Felix. Is that you saying his name? Wacom? Wacom?
Wacom Phoenix.
Wacom Phoenix. So she's
Whack-a-mole
married.
Phoenix.
Yeah, she's married to him. At a budget of 35 million, and box office 117 million, which made them a bit of money. What are you thinking on the Rotten?
I hope it's low, but I worry because sometimes it does some of the ratings shock me sometimes. I'm gonna say in the 20s, maybe 26.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to say 21.
Oh, thank Christ.
14%.
Wow.
So not a great success. So what we're going to talk about this, because I've watched it. Now I've seen it about 4 or 5 times. So I used to watch the films twice, a lot on the original. Get him on the phone. Who's that, Jess? Hello?
Sorry.
So I used to watch the films a couple of times 2 years ago. Stopped doing that a while ago because it's just running out of time. So this is about the 4th or 5th time I've seen it. I do like the beginning. Yeah, about the first 10 minutes with the Springwood diner scene with the cutting of the throat and things. I thought, wow, we're in for something. And it's gradually downhill from there, really, isn't it? So, Jess, come on. I don't know what else to say because he's come across as a revenge ghost this time. Because they told on him for being a paedophile, he becomes a revenge ghost.
Yeah. I quite liked so at the beginning I was very confused. I didn't really understand what was going on. I couldn't tell if it was a remake or a reboot.
The remake the first, isn't it?
Yeah, it just was so off of the first one I felt at the beginning that I wasn't really sure where it was going. Yeah. And again, like the boyfriend was like on the run. In the first film, there's quite a gap between him going to Nancy and then we're like speculating about what's happened. But in this one, he goes straight to her bedroom, which I just thought was really odd. I did quite like the premise though, like the actual whole. They think that parents may have killed someone innocent. because I thought that was quite good, and then having to go and find out, and then finding out that he wasn't.
Yeah.
I
Compared to the first, but again, I
yeah.
just don't think it was done very well. It wasn't particularly scary. Some of the like, I guess, jump scares and that just weren't scary at all.
No.
But there was also, it wasn't particularly funny. Like the other ones had some humor to them, whereas this was just a bit, I don't know what it was supposed to be.
It was just madness, because even he was a bit creepy, a bit, I don't know
He
what's
looked
the
more
word.
realistic, like the burns and stuff. They were definitely more
some of it
realistic
terrible.
looking.
Some of the frames you can see, if you go and look at that, like the wallpaper or whatever, the pictures of that,
some of it was
they
so
look
dark.
really bad. Yeah, really bad. And even some of his lines, like something about him being her boyfriend, and it was just still. I didn't think it was Freddy at all. So I know it's meant to be a reimagining, but it was just so off, and just annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I just found a few of the cast annoying. I found him quite annoying. I don't think that was his fault. He worked with what you're given. Yeah, so I'd love to hear what Ewan's views are on this, but this is going to be a short one tonight. I can see it now.
Don't say that yet.
Go on, come on, Larry.
I hate this film massively, and for multiple reasons. The first, and I'm going to try and just do it as compressed and concise. The first is, if you're going to reboot it, you need to add something new. There needs to be a reason why. I said this in the episode of A New Nightmare, that as much as I don't like the film, a retelling should take something and expand on it, or show create some new creative angles. So there's that scene where it's the babysitter in the hospital, and we see almost from Freddy's angle, and it's like a nice callback to the first one. With this film, they literally redo shots the exact same, but they're worse. There's the really cool shot in the original where they've got a tarp or something, and Nancy's asleep, and Freddy lingers over her and then goes back in, and it's like the wall. And in this, it's a CGI mess of just this odd looking shape of somebody. Then, and then the Nancy in the original, to me, the reason why it works so well is because at the beginning she starts off as very much a, dare I say, like more like she's very innocent. She's kind of, it's all about her and her boyfriend sort of thing, and her friends. And then as it progresses, she has to become the hero. In this, it's nothing against Rooney Mara, because I actually think she's a great actress, and she's brilliant in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and other bits that she's in. But with this, they make Nancy very much like a recluse. And from the get-go, she's very much like a character who's off and doesn't really connect, I guess, with a lot of people, at least like how it is presented. And then all of the deaths, in my opinion, are rubbish. They capitalize more on, oh, look, we want this really cool shot where she gets flung up and, killed and all that. Whereas in the original, it's so much more effective, because even just having a static shot of just watching somebody go up the wall and just getting blood on the walls and everything, you're there thinking, what the fuck is going on? And it's just not effective. The characters are all really dull in this. It's so boring. One of the things I love about the original is when they get the guy who they think killed the girl in the first bit, he's actually in prison, and he's in like a jail cell. And the idea is that in his dreams, Freddy can control the sheet and hangs him. So it's meant to look like, oh, he killed himself. In this one, it's, oh, I'm asleep. with like another person. I'm scared that they're like, you know, and I like that element, but then it takes it to like, oh yeah, no, you're in a furnace with me, and I'm just we're not gonna see your death. It's very much just washed over. And then the biggest crime of this film for me is Freddy, because again, the actor, he is a good actor, and I think a lot of people, when you do a remake or a reimagining, and you take a pivotal point of it, of that what made the story great, and you flip it, you have to, and it's a risk, but you have to have a good reason for it. When you're doing it with something that's so popular to a lot of people, being Freddy, you know, people might not have seen them all, but people know, like, oh, Nightmare on Elm Street, that's the guy with the, you know, who does the quippy lines and all that. When you strip that away and say, no quippy lines, oh no, we want him to just be deadpan serious in every scene he's in, it's boring. It becomes boring, and it just becomes dull. And admittedly, you're gonna piss off fans, because the fans, like Robert Englund, to everybody who likes Nightmare on Elm Street, is Freddy. And it is a shame, because I know Robert Englund kind of has put it behind him, although he is talking about hopefully coming back possibly to do one more. At least that's what I've read, because they're debating doing one more. But my opinion is that this shouldn't have been made. And the time it came out was all wrong. I think the setting is wrong. I think one thing that a lot of filmmakers or writers forget is that some of these films are so good because of when they're set. That first film, 80s or 90s, I think it's 80s. Yeah, and it's that claustrophobic feeling, you know, Nancy having one phone in her room, and it's that, you know, she's not walking around on her smartphone going and all that. And, you know, there's this subplot in it, because I'll go over the one that Jess mentioned, because I agree with that one for, like, so I think that was a good subplot. But the problem with it is that we as the audience, we don't care, because we know Freddy is that. So it's not a twist. It's just like, oh, we need something to pad the time. Because for all of us watching it, we're there like, well, if maybe it's going to be very cool that they're going to flip it. Because imagine watching it going, but we all know, and then it turns out, no shit, he was innocent. Oh shit, this is just revenge. I actually would have preferred that as a sort of new
I totally agree. I totally agree with that.
And it's a shame, because what they choose to do is they go, let's build it up and build it up. Oh no, don't worry about it, guys. Yeah, he was a serial killer / pedophile. And yeah, no, don't worry, you know all the story. And then the second subplot that I just think is not, I would have preferred a film about just that subplot, is they decide, okay, we have to try and fight back, sort of thing. And they try and get these pills that, if, you know, it will stop, like, they start talking about what's going to happen if they don't sleep, if they don't dream, and that they're gonna deteriorate, and then it's going to be like you're awake but you don't know if you're dreaming or not. So like you miss you know, get the reality. It's in one scene. It's like literally in one scene in a shopping thing, and probably and yeah, so like it's in one scene in a shopping place, and you sit there and you go, oh, okay, you're going to expand on that more, like, and it's in one scene. And as I said a little bit ago, like, that, I think what's more insulting is you look at some of those original deaths, effects, or whatever, and one of my favorite from the original is when she sees her friend in the body bag, and it's just like, it's not over the top, overdone, and it's effective and generally quite scary. Whereas for every choice they make in this film, it's almost like they just went, oh yeah, instead of it being just like very calm and effective, let's have her scream and laugh and do all the shit in the body bag, and it's going to look crap. And yeah, so my general opinion is that I just don't think this should have been made. I think, if anything, they should have tried to come up with a good concept for a new sequel to the originals, and they should have said, this is the last one, but we're going to do some more creative stuff. Maybe Freddy is a bit darker, but Robert Englund can channel that because he's a good actor, like great actor. So I feel like if he had come back and they had gone, we're going to go for a more darker tone, but we still want that element of the comedy and the quips in there. I think that that's something that people want to see. Whereas when you just go, let's strip it, it's not Freddy, it's just a serial killer. And with the effects, I think it's a shame because on one hand, I think, yeah, they've put time and effort into it and it looks effective, but it's just not, it doesn't do anything personally for me because, again, if it was Freddy and he was being Freddy, I'd be like, wow, this is cool. But instead, it's just
so it should just be
played to the
wiped from existence, this film.
Well, I just think that the two
absolutely.
sequels, the two reboots, reimaginings, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, I think both of them, writers or the directors or whatever, completely missed the mark on what they thought people wanted from
The
this.
same studio did all them.
I actually, that'd be an interesting question. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would imagine so. New Line Cinema, I think, did one of them, and I know that
did Nightmare,
and then June Productions or something did Friday the 13th, because again there was and again I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but there is a great reboot that I think a lot of people overlook. At least I think. You have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, which is fantastic.
That's a New Line as well, isn't it?
And
that
yeah,
reboot?
I think it's Dune Studios because that's what. Yeah, because they remade, they like reimagined or rebooted Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it was under Michael Bay's company, which I think is Dune Studios or Productions. And I know a lot of people probably sit there and think, oh no, another reboot, but I actually quite like it because it does what a reboot or a reimagining should. You have your character that everyone knows, but you expand upon it. You go, you take elements and say, what do people want to see on this? And yeah, I feel like with these two films, they, instead of saying, oh, let's really work hard on what people want to see from this, I think they just went, nah, we'll quickly smash something out and just try and make it more serious.
Make some money.
Yeah. And it's a shame because it's renowned as people hate it. People literally go, oh, that's that shit remake. And it's like, yeah, because it's boring. And that's the biggest crime. I prefer shit if it was entertaining, but
Evil Dead did it. You got two scales there. I thought Evil Dead, 10, this 1.
Yeah,
that's
Evil Dead.
Even Amityville remake's better than that. And,
yeah. I mean, like, again, the example you're given, like Evil Dead, what was great is that, as much as I know not everyone likes it, which is fair enough, but what they did is they took the story and made a reason for them to be stuck in the cabin. So that a lot of people like myself, when watching it, were like, well, in that first one, you could argue, why didn't they just leave when shit got bad? But I like how they give a reason why the characters have to stay. And one of the biggest things everyone knows from the Evil Dead is the effects, the special effects, and how, over the top and crazy. So what do? They go, right, well, people love that. Let's buckle down and try and make it as effective and over the top and creepy. And they do the opposite here, sadly. They do the opposite. They try and cut corners with CGI, and it's just not effective. It's boring.
Thank you, Larry.
Condensed.
I totally get it.
It's me, it's you, it's Dean, it's Jesse, Chris. He's in all of our heads, Nancy. We gotta stop this.
How?
Don't fall asleep.
Amazing.
Take me back.
Oh dear. So should we just rate this and move on? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't remember what I gave it last time. So it just annoyed me. So I'm going to give it a 2 this time. Maybe being a bit harsh. I did like the way it started. I did like that, and then it just fell off a cliff. I think. I don't know. Just boring. Just crappy special effects. Just crappy everything. So sadly. What a waste. Yeah. So yeah, 2 for me, Jess.
I would also give it a solid, or not so solid, 2 boners. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna be that guy who says I'm gonna give it a 1.
Okay.
And the reason being is because, and I've said this a lot on the podcast, is if you go out and make a film, fair play, even if it is the worst thing, right? You've gone out and you've done it, so fair enough. The difference with this film is that it's a huge studio that has the ability to give a good budget, hire writers, directors, talent to be able to go, yeah, we've got this greenlit. And this is, like I said, it's just boring. In fact, the other than the recent time I watched it, the previous time, which was a while ago, I've seen it a few times, but I put it on thinking, because I did similar to what you said, Kev. I was watching The Nightmare on Elm Street just in my own time of like, I might watch 1 and 2 today and all that, and then I got to that one and thought, you know what? Let's just try and give it another go. And I didn't finish it. I had turned it off. I can tell you exactly where I turned it off. I turned it off after the first girl dies because I was just bored. And I remember thinking I could be doing anything else.
I sat through this.
This time I did, and this time it just made me angry because I was just bored. Like I was just like, oh, remember me? Yeah.
His voice is so loud as well. Like I don't know what it was with the sound, but he was so above everything else.
No, it didn't sound right. None of it sounded right, did it? Like it didn't sound like it was coming from him. Like it was coming from the air somewhere.
Well, like there's a line in it as well. Like just again, this is just a random nitpick of this, but there's a line in it as well where he's about they're in the school, I think, or like they're in the furnace, and it's the furnace, and the matey who's been like accused of the murder is like hanging upside down, and Freddy comes over, and in that moment, in the originals or stuff, you'd have him say like a funny line and then maybe kill him a certain way. In this, he's like, what? I think that's really testing my memory. I think he says, why are you screaming? I haven't even cut you yet. And it's like, no shit, why am I screaming? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, that's a dumb line. That's so stupid. Like, too
many of them.
And I just, I don't know. And again, it's no discredit to the actors, because all of the actors in it are actually, that they've been in other stuff where I think, wow, like again, Rooney Mara, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. She, with the American remake, she is fantastic in that. The actor who plays Rorschach in Watchmen, the way he channels that character through that notion. And I think that's how this started, with getting him involved in it. I think somebody from a production team watched Watchmen and went, oh, he's got a really grisly voice. Should we get him in to play Freddy? And it's like that's just so stupid. It's so stupid. So yeah, it's a 1 from me, sadly.
Oh dear. At least that's the end of this journey. For now. Yeah. There's never been a game. Dead by Daylight, Freddy's in that, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's quite interesting actually.
I would much prefer either a follow-up film, like they redo another one, and it's part of the original trilogy, the original series of the films, or do something different and creative and say, because I know that there is that film or short TV series where they did like the court case. Do something like that, like expand the universe a bit, to like play, like have fun with it, instead of these just automatically going, oh, no one will go see it, we'll remake it, because there's so much potential to be had. And if Robert Englund is going to be up for it to do just one more, you could do it. Like, you could pull it off. With
I can't believe Dan's not seen it. He's just commented, you guys are rough, I need to watch that movie. It is horrendous. It's not even so bad it's good. It's just bloody terrible.
It's not. I think that's the biggest crime of it, because it's not bad where you can laugh at it and go, oh, it was shit, but oh, this bit was hilarious. Did you see that really bad shot or something? It's just boring.
For 2010 as well.
It's not long ago.
Of it, I was like,
yeah.
Did it have a good trailer? Do you know?
The trailer was because the trailer, if again this is testing the memory on this, but if I remember correctly, because I think I said it on the last podcast, can't remember if it was actually on there or after, but I got really excited when they released the trailer for this, because I thought, oh, okay, they're going to treat it with some, it's going to look lovely, cinematography wise. And look, yeah, there are some shots in it at the beginning with the diner, with the lights and everything.
Yeah.
But it just sadly, it's just shit. It's just bad. And
I thought this was a bit weird as well, like how he was just in his memory kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're watching the trailer at the moment.
But, and again, imagine watching this trailer, and you're as a big fan, and you think, because this is exactly what I thought. I was like, oh, okay, they're going to handle it differently. They're going to change it, right? My issue is that, again, if you had that twist in where he was innocent, this could have been a very clever reimagining of it. Oh, you've got your old ones, but this is like, this is a new retelling. But if it did that, you could then expand, and probably people would want more. Like, oh, I want a Nightmare on Elm Street 2. But the reality is that you end where the first film ends, basically. And, if you're asking me which journey I want to go on, I'll happily go back and watch the 80s version. Happily. Because it's entertaining.
Why ask about the trailer? Well. Yeah, go on. Go on,
like, this scene with in the bath, like, this was a very, that shot, but that whole scene was just shortened to that one shot.
Yeah,
pretty much. Like, that really irritated me.
Yeah,
that was such a good.
I completely agree, because in the original, when she's in the bath, she doesn't even notice the hand, and that's what's so effective in that. Like, she drifts off to sleep. It's only because I think someone knocks on the door, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm coming," and the hand slowly creeps down. In this one, they do the typical, horror movie trope where hand comes out, and then it's loud noise of dun dun dun, and then it's like, oh god, what happened? And it's like, wait, so did you see the hand? Did you not? Why are you? It's just I don't know.
And when she sets the alarm on her phone, I was like, oh, that's how you can tell with the time difference, because before she had an alarm clock or something.
Like, it's just so dumb. Like, I know that's, again, I know, like, I'm just going on, but like, the first one of some of the most memorable bits were like when Nancy's in her room and she's brought up the coffee pot, and she's got, and her hair is slowly turning grey because of the stress and everything. And it's like just little things like that where she's confined to her room for a good majority of between the second and the third act, where, there's bars on the fucking window and all that shit and it this just completely negates it. It just kind of goes, it's just boring.
Anyway, so we move on to the award-winning part of the show. Dan's hot pick.
I tried.
Aww, Larry.
I was literally going like this, like, oh shit, yeah, I ain't in this, am I?
So, Terrified. Available on Shudder. If Nightmare on Elm Street's down there, this is up there somewhere, I would have thought, for all of us. Jess, did you get to watch it? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
So this is a film from Argentina. It's in foreign, right? So Spanish, I think. Spanish foreign, I think. Is it? I watched it a while ago, maybe a year ago on Shudder. And let me just I haven't done my banner, have I? So you got paranormal researchers investigate strange events in the neighborhood in Buenos Aires. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Argentina. This film, it's very dark. It's certainly not special effects. It's the real, what would you call them, Larry? What's the word?
Practical effects.
Practical effects. And it starts like that, and there's people under the bed, and it's blood, and it's just everything you want from a horror movie. I adore it. I think there's a Blu-ray of this.
I'm
Or the
trying
box.
to
Yeah,
find
I've
it.
seen it. I've definitely seen it. But it is available on Shudder. 2 seconds. I want to, just before we ask your opinion, there is a review I found by this guy for the film we just watched by Tenton Quarantino. I'd rather dip my balls in a jar of honey and teabag a beehive than watch this again.
Yeah.
And that's exactly kind of how I felt.
Yes, 100%.
So
100%.
I had to put it out there because, it was anyway. I don't want to go over it again, but yeah, I was devastated by it really, and it's got worse with time. That's the thing; it's got worse. So Dan's put this was his pick. It was a wonderful and scary movie, and there was so much going on in that house. It's just an awesome film. I don't want to give too much away, really, other than they're investigating why there's this things going on in there. There was the banging in it from the neighbor comes out, and there's the constant banging from the house.
Yeah.
And
It's great.
There's a body that they say kind of moves, and it doesn't look like it is, but it does.
Yeah.
That little boy is it sat at the table.
Well, yeah. So like, just like, obviously because it's in the trailer and stuff. So there is a twist. There's a very good twist, which I really appreciated. I think I love things where you think you know what's going on, and then it can really just turn your head, and you're like, "Oh, that's really clever." But yeah, the young boy gets hit by a bus or a truck. I can't remember which one it exactly was, and his body ends up just coming back to the house, like with no. He's just. I think it's in the trailer. His body's just sat at the dinner table, and it's very much paranormal investigators who are trying to obviously investigate what's going on. But I'd say, not to give anything away, but I'd say, what I loved is that I thought it was going to just be a paranormal investigative film with some good effects, but instead it's completely not what's going on, which is why I would recommend it highly. It's great. The effects are fantastic. The acting's really good. And I couldn't find the Blu-ray for ages. I actually didn't realize that they'd done a Blu-ray because I knew you could only watch it on Shudder at one point. So
I'll need to own it. It's great. You didn't watch it, Jess?
No.
I think this was actually scary a bit.
It is actually. It's very creepy, and it's subtle horror. It's like there are jump scares, but they're handled very well. But it's more subtle horror of just some of the visuals. I mean, it's in the trailer, but one of my favorite scenes is that there's this woman who is in the shower / bath, and she hovers, and then she just keeps getting smacked against the two walls just repeatedly, and the way they shoot it is great. It's really, really good.
Yeah, Dan's just commented that he loved the strong scenes that stick to your brain for a long while, and that's what it does. It makes you think. Yeah, you'll be thinking about it for a little while after this.
Yeah,
once a year, I think that one is really. I was watching one on Shudder last night. I will talk about it next week. I'm kind of 3/4 way through it, so I haven't got actually much to talk about later on. So I'm going to give that 8. I think that's up there, really, with some of the best stuff Dan's recommended. That's always good anyway, to be honest, with Dan. So, Jess, you want to get on that? Get on Shudder. Get it on. So let's move on to what we watched this week.
What have you been watching?
No, seriously, what have you been watching?
This is bad for me because I haven't watched too much at all. Because I've been watching these Lord of the Rings films, and the last one is 4.5 hours long. It was Return of the King. So I've been trying to do an hour a night because I don't get much time. So I do a lot of football and things like that after work. So I'm on that one, and I still haven't finished it. So, Dan's give it a 9. For Terrified.
I'd give it a 9. To be fair, I think
Yeah.
the only reason it loses, maybe not the reason why it's not a 10 out of 10 for me, is that there are some things like that I think, and this is such a small criticism, but I just think little things could be tighter in places. But it's phenomenal. Definitely, it's worth a watch. There's so much shit horror out there, and this is one of the ones that really puts the bar high to be like, oh, there's still creativity out there, like really good storytelling.
There is so much out there, actually, I've been watching recently. So have a think about next week, Dan, if you can let us know. So I've been watching that and I still haven't finished. And then one night this week, I'd had A Quiet Place 2 for ages. And it was still in its wrapper. And I had the 4K one. So me and my boy sat down, we watched that. So I think most people have seen Quiet Place 2. I don't know what your thoughts were on Larry. I actually went to cinema. I really liked it. I thought it was what they showed was worth showing. I think
Did we do A Quiet Place 2?
We did.
Sure
We did both of them, I think.
Yeah. So I watched that. I must have spoke about it after I went to the cinema because I haven't watched it since. Put it like that. So that was my second watch. But it was lovely in 4K. It looked the business. The boy liked it. That nipper, that boy, he still annoys the hell out of me. All that screaming just because he got his foot caught in a bear trap. What's the matter with him? You know what I mean? Just run it off. Yeah, it was good. So enjoyed that. You seen it, Jess? You must have done.
Yeah.
You done it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much.
And if you haven't listened, if you're listening and you haven't heard that, you should go back and listen and watch.
The thing is, I can't even remember we did it. That's how bad I am.
We did 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because we were discussing that we thought there was going to be a bigger monster when she goes on the train.
Like a king monster, like a queen.
And then there wasn't because it felt like it was building up to that, and it was really disappointing.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think the first one has like it's not my favorite film, but I think it's all right. It's good. The second
We're getting
one,
more then. Are we going to get more? I presume we probably will.
I honestly don't know. It all depends. We have to wait and see what's happening with Fantastic Four from Marvel because John Krasinski usually he writes and directs them, doesn't he? So,
he's doing that now, is he?
Well, we don't know. It's all up for speculation. I mean, he was in Doctor Strange, but they've kind of said they've said that was just a I don't know. They kind of said, "Oh yeah, that's a multiverse version." So they might recast it.
They can just throw any actor in and be like, "It's a multiversion version of this person."
Yeah. Unless actually, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it in a bit, just because there's an interesting thing about it with that Marvel thing that I can't get my head around at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what you think.
Jess, what have you watched this week?
I thought I hadn't watched a lot, and I realised the reason I haven't watched a lot. So I went out on Thursday morning. I went and bought the complete H.P. Lovecraft.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Which is on my coffee table.
Does
So,
it have that story in it? Because I know it says it's got literally all of them. Okay, awesome.
Which one? On the back, and it does state those two.
Yeah, At the Mountains of Madness and Call of Cthulhu.
I got the Audible of all them. Every single one.
It's a very pretty book, but yeah. So I went out, got that, got home, and I was like, "Oh, it's a Thursday," so I watched She-Hulk. It was. I preferred this one to the last one, I think.
Same. Completely.
It was a lot funnier. Although the other main character of this episode made me so angry.
Yeah.
I really did like her, especially the ending. I was like, no, it angered me. But this episode I think was better. And it kind of started off with her being very much like talking to the camera and being very honest about what the episode was going to be, which I thought was quite funny.
Well, I think as well, because everybody didn't they? Like, I don't know if you did, but I, especially with the last episode, I thought it was, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was a bit rubbish. But the ending with the whole tease of spoilers for anyone, but that character, I was very much like, oh, awesome, next episode, that's happening. And I actually, at first, I was a bit pissed because you're watching it and you're like, oh, okay. They've set it up. But I actually, like you said, I really appreciate that she turns to the camera and she's like, yeah, sorry, this is going to be a contained episode and kind of a one plot, like, very contained story. Because just like a wedding, they pop up randomly. And I was like, oh, that's clever. I was like, good writing.
I also really like that. I can't remember her name, but she's like her best friend.
Yes.
How she gets her own kind of thing going on the side as well. I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, that's all I watched on Thursday. Well, no, that's a lie. No, I watched that. Then I binged the whole of season 2 of Fate, which is the Winx saga. Don't know.
Okay.
If know.
I've heard it, but I don't think I've.
Yeah, so Winx I watched a lot as a kid, and there were like I think comics of it. This is a very different adult version. The main character, she was in Sabrina. It's a bit cringe at times. They do so how in series where characters have magical, so like Sailor Moon, right? The transformation kind of thing.
Yeah.
That they have this thing where they transform into their like fairy.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit because they don't really transform. Their outfits don't change. They just get wings. But their elements and stuff are like water around the arms and stuff, and it was just a bit meh.
Yeah,
I just kind of cringed at it. But the show is quite gory, as well. Like it's a very adult version of what I watched as a child. It's quite different. It is good though. Oh, look who it is!
It's Ewan Franklin.
Hi,
let us know.
Ewan.
Let us know what you thought.
How many bonus, Ewan?
1, please join the 1 club.
Did he watch it though? Has he watched it?
He probably. No, I think he probably has, and I think he probably was traumatized, and that's why he's actually not here.
Yeah, that's the real reason.
He's just sat at home shaking, going, "No, what have you done?"
He just like puts 10 out of 10, the best one of the franchise. Just be like, I'm done.
So Dan's on there. You and show your bonus. So we'll just wait for that. So another couple of things for me, right? Just before I let Larry go with what he says. I watched the Hellraiser trailer. Any thoughts? Have you seen it?
Yes, I think I put it in the WhatsApp. Chat, and
I watched it properly on a big screen, not my phone.
It's fat. I'm actually I think I said this when we discussed it that I was really hesitant by it. I mean, I'm going to withhold my judgment completely because similar to this film that we obviously did, Nightmare on Elm Street, I thought the same thing when I watched the trailer. Nice, Ewan. Yes, I'm so glad. But yeah, the trailer for it, I'm very surprised, taken aback and shocked of how good it looks.
Yeah,
and I feel as though similar with Prey, that was released on Hulu / like Disney Plus. I look at these two films, and if it's good, I'm just very surprised that they've sent 2 films, if it's good, that actually look and feel like new tellings of what's come before, but not just remaking it or just telling the same story. And I'm surprised that they're putting those films on Hulu, but then we'll get in cinemas some absolute dog shit. So it's a shame, because if this turns out to be good, I would have said I would almost argue to them, like, please put it in cinema, like let it make some good money, because there's a lot of fans out there of it.
I don't know how much it must cost them to put it in the cinema. Maybe there's a cost to that. But after the last few, how many Hellraisers are there now? 8, 9?
Well, the other one, the most recent one, didn't. I don't think that went to cinema. I think they literally just put it on, like, because this was before, like, all the. Okay, it's starting positive. This is what Ewan has put. He's put starting positively. I like the emo vibe, weirdly, and I like the chemistry between Rooney Mara and the other bloke. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I was. But now he's put. But my God.
Now we're gonna have to wait 5 minutes for a paragraph.
Yeah.
So I'm presuming he didn't like it then.
Yeah.
So you should have brought that trailer up, Jess. That would have looked good now. We could have been watching the Hellraiser trailer. But another thing I've been watching quick, YouTube, there is a channel called Creature Features. There's some kind of old rock star in leathers doing it with a strange kind of butler guy and a woman, and they're kind of doing the Joe Bob thing where they're introducing films, and there are some bangers on there, some really old movies, and I highly recommend it. And it's all free, isn't it? So Creature Features on YouTube. I'll put the links in the podcast. So let's just get to Ewan is all about emo. This is from Dan, just like Larry is K-pop. So
I still don't know where the K. I remember
Where
this got
has
mentioned.
this come
Yeah,
from?
I don't know. I mean, it's hilarious, but I don't know. So it was mentioned like a couple of podcasts ago, and I remember thinking then, like, whoa, where's that come from? I love it though.
So they completely missed the point of Freddy's character, and it was over stylized to fuck. And produced by Michael Bay was the first red flag. So
I don't know though. I see this is the thing, and Ewan, if you obviously are watching, if you've not seen the reimagining of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre done by the same company, give that a watch. And I'd love to hear what you think of that, because it's ironic because they did a good job with that, and then they missed the mark with this.
what's the actor's
with
name
Friday
in
the
that?
13th.
What's the actor?
What in
Texas Chainsaw.
Oh God. I mean, not. I will say, I'm not talking about
She steals the scenes anyway.
Oh no, I don't mean that one. Sorry,
No?
I don't mean that.
Is there
one.
another
No.
one?
I hate that one. The
Oh,
most
dear.
recent one.
I don't
is
mind that one.
Bad. Like I'm talking
No.
about the one that came out in 2000 and
Yeah, it's a while ago.
Is it Jessica Biel?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we are talking about the same one. Yes,
Right, okay.
Jessica Biel is great in it. Again, tangent, but it's just I don't know. I'd recommend
Another
anybody if you want a good remake to see how to do it in a creative and clever way, watch it, because it's I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30, but it's good, and it doesn't ruin the original at all.
So on remakes, are you looking forward to this Winnie the Pooh remake?
No,
I am.
We're doing it.
no,
It's going to be a Dan's hot. It's going to be
similar
a hot
release?
pick. It's going to be a hot pick.
I will happily watch it, but I feel like the trailer says it all for what I'm in for. Just absolute. Oh, face looks like a
He's not
fucking
talking about me,
travesty.
is he?
And trying to recreate the kills from Nightmare 1 so badly. Yeah, I completely agree. That's literally and it's done boringly. It's just they're not creative. It's just boring. But to be fair, I haven't watched too much. I watched the new Lord of the Rings episode. The Rings of Power. Really good. I like what they're hinting at. I think that there's a couple of things that we might see as the series goes on, which I'm excited for. Oh, 2 bonus. Okay, so it's basically, yeah.
I'm just gonna. Okay. Very excited for this.
There we go. This is where we get banned again. But
I'll just go.
no, it's 30 seconds is fine. We should be fine.
Why is everybody like? I get the appeal of it's clever that they're doing, because the rights to, I think, Winnie the Pooh now, you can use the IP of it, but I don't know. I just feel this, like, for me, the suit. I don't like. Is it a man in a suit, or is it meant to be an actual bear?
I think it might be a man in a suit.
And that's what I mean, because like Christopher, I swear, like the whole plot is Christopher Robin going back to the 4 Acre Woods or whatever, and it's like, wait, if that is supposed to be an actual bear, like, just look at that frame that you've got it on, like that. It looks like a fucking shit mask.
It is a shit mask, right? I think it's going to be great.
Oh.
Look at Piglet. Yeah, they do. They look like real animals with their hands.
And with their hands and their gloves.
Where's his hoofs?
Nice.
Amazing.
Like, I don't get it. I'd have to like. I'm gonna.
They have trotters, don't they? Pigs have trotters. Bears have. What do they have? They have paws.
Yeah.
Gloved hands.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyway,
Oh wow.
before we get a ban, what else have you?
Yeah.
Yes.
What else have you watched, Larry?
Well, so I watched obviously She-Hulk, and basically completely agree with everything you said.
I don't think I'm going to watch it. After watching a bit of an episode with the boys, I'm like, it's not for me.
I
I
feel
don't think you'd like it.
no. I think it's a shame because if they continue down the route they're going with this episode, I actually think there's still some potential. I also liked. I think the only thing that I didn't say was that I liked the end twist, the end stinger, sort of thing.
Sorry,
with
just
the new
read
villain.
Ewan's.
Oh.
Thought you were just...
She said no.
Wait,
Someone else will read that comment.
I wonder if Pooh has a cock. Oh, I wonder if
probably.
Pooh. Oh no, that
Does
is meant to be has. As a. I wonder if Pooh has a
I wonder
cock.
if Pooh is a cock.
These are the things that Ewan wonders when he watches films.
You would wonder though, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? He should have one.
I mean,
Wait,
if it's
Pooh's
a man,
isn't Pooh a girl?
No.
Pooh. I think Pooh's a
The
boy.
original Pooh's a girl.
Oh, what the one from the cartoon?
No, the Pooh that is original, like the original. What was
Oh right,
Pooh's based
okay,
off of.
sure.
Is it?
Sometimes I have messed up the words bear and beer. Yeah. Can't...
I do that all the time.
I haven't really watched too much, if I'm honest. What I was gonna say, and I'll use just a short time just to ask this. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, it confuses me now, which it never used to, but why is it that some characters in the multiverse are the same actor but in a different multiverse, whereas other characters are completely different people? And I know it's a multiverse, so there's endless possibilities, but I find it very odd that, like, Doctor Strange...
Yeah, Ewan just said it. Winnie. Winnie is a girl's name.
Yes, okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
So does she have a vagina? That's what we're asking?
Well, I think they've changed it now, haven't they? Like, I think...
I don't know, have they?
Well, like from the old, like from the cartoons, especially. Like I know that I don't know.
His name's is a girl's name, isn't it?
The original bear that he's named after in real life was a female black bear named Winnie.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's based on the real bear. Yeah, okay. Maybe this film that's coming out is gonna do a nice twist with that.
That'd be the twist when at the end.
Imagine that,
like Sleepaway Camp. Instead of being a girl, but the other way around.
tied into Christopher Robin. I don't know.
What a twist. Anyway, anything else, Larry? Anything else?
No, that's literally that's it for me. All I watched was mainly Rings of Power, and I did watch the Sidemen football charity match as well. I don't know if that's worth.
My boy watched that. Yeah.
Okay, I won't say the score, but it was really good. It was really good, like really fun. It was very entertaining. A good laugh to watch.
They're all a bunch of bellends, though, aren't they? All of them.
Sidemen.
I like the Sidemen.
Oh God.
Yeah, I like the Sidemen.
Mm-hmm.
I watch all their Sidemen Sundays as well.
So next week, Dan's hot pick is the Deep House. I think I've seen that a while ago. I don't know if it's about an underwater house. Could be. I think I've seen it. I've got a funny feeling I watched it last year. So this is the big decision. We are on our way to 100, and we need to pick some films to get us there. So we've been on the Evil Dead trip, and we've been on this now we're in Elm Street, and because of that, we're doing pretty well. So we need to continue. So what route do we go down? I did ask you all.
Did we do The Conjuring? Because I know we spoke about it on one of the podcasts. But I think that was just a rant from Mick.
I think I've done one. I don't think we've done 2 or 3 or 4 or The Nun or the Annabelles. I don't think we've done any of them.
it'd be good maybe to. I mean, I wouldn't mind going.
Episode 4 was The Conjuring.
Okay, so is that the only one, Jess, from the series? So I'm happy to go. I don't know how well that would go down with the world, but I'm happy to do it.
A rant every week from me.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of these films actually quite a few times, so I don't mind.
I also agree with that comment that just came in. Are there any?
Also, yes, Ewan.
K-pop horror movie. What is a K-pop horror movie, Dan?
I know what K-pop is, but I don't.
K-pop? What is it? What's K-pop?
Oh, that's probably where it came from, isn't it? Because of the Korean horror film Pulse, I think, right? Surely
it's got to be.
I don't
didn't
know.
do very well. That is an episode. That died on his ass.
Oh, there is a film we should do actually that has been popping up a lot on TikTok, and I've been meaning to watch it for ages. Everyone keeps sharing it, saying it is the like scariest movie that's out at the moment. Incantation. I think it's Korean. It's a horror that's on Netflix.
Incantation.
It pops up to me constantly.
I haven't got Netflix.
Yeah. Well, find it on Internet Plus. But yeah, it's meant to be like really scary. I don't know how much I trust TikTok with that kind of thing, but
sure.
Wow.
Is
it a new? Is it a new film?
I think it's quite new.
So, like Ewan's just mentioned that the episode is much shorter without him, so we're a half hour off. Yeah, because we missed your chat, Ewan. You have been proudly missed tonight.
It's Chinese.
Chinese.
Or Taiwan. Is that country Taiwan?
Do you want to do the Conjurings? There's 4 of them. That'll get us to 98. Right?
Yeah. And we need to make a decision about 100.
No, 100. We revisit Birdemic. There you go.
And we also
podcast ends.
we need to do the ghost
One
stuff as well.
Versus Birdemic versus House Shark. Episode 100. That'd be amazing. For those
we should. I think for the 100th episode, we should all try and other than like the ghost walk stuff that we've discussed, because I think that's great as a separate, obviously, video. But I think for the actual podcast, we should try and look up what is the internet or people on the internet say is the scariest film of all time, like the one, like the horror that is renowned as the best, and maybe do a double, the best horror of all time and the worst horror of all time
versus the worst. Oh wow, now that is a good idea.
Best and the worst, because I actually am not sure, and I know that there's like a load of different answers of what people think, but it'd be interesting to find the majority one, put that as the best versus the worst.
Or we combine those ideas, we find a really haunted place, take a projector and watch the scariest film.
I've got a projector.
Yeah, I like that. But do we do double feature? God, do you imagine you watch the best and then the worst?
And we do it all live.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Get like those mics that you can just all hold and comment while you're watching it. That would be a really good idea. And also, you'd be able to do it in a good way, because it's almost like a commentary while it goes on, and to avoid copyright, we just wouldn't show the projected screen.
So Ewan's put on to do a poll on Twitter or Insta. So yeah, we could do the number 1 film and then the number 1 worst film.
And then go watch it live. I love that idea.
Sounds good.
Can you do that on Instagram? I think Twitter might work, but I think Instagram's a load of poll. All right, so next week we will be back with our episode 94, The Conjuring, another revisit. Dan's hot pick is The Deep House, which I might watch tonight, actually. And if you want to follow us on Facebook, you can. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's the Bones Horror Pod. No, is it? It's Bones. It's Bones Horror Pod. Instagram's Bones Horror Pod. If you want to email us, it's boneshorrorpod@gmail.com. And that's pretty much it. Instagram's Bones Horror Pod. It's gone a bit dead on there. Jessie's got a Bones Horror House on there, haven't you?
Bones Horror Home, if you want to follow.
Bones Horror Home, if you want to see Jessie's house. Yeah. So we'll be back next week with that. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Again, it's been great, and we'll see you all next week. Cheers, Em. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it! You're ignorant.